Hey, I wasn't gonna make another video for a while, but I just I just got Linux on my computer about a week and a half ago, and I wanted to talk about that because like I used Linux from 2007 to 2009, loved it, turned into a total Linux fanboy, still am, but I had to use Windows for a couple of years because I lost internet. Like I was moving around, a bunch of shit happened. Then the only way I was able to get on the internet was through a wireless key, like a dongle, and I couldn't get the drivers for it for Linux. So I used Windows, and I ended up using that for a while, even when I got internet back, after I got a regular place to live and everything. But I still used Windows for a while because I wasn't sure if I could get Linux to work with everything. So, and plus I got a new computer, and I was like, there used to be a lot of hardware issues with Linux. You had to be like, make sure your hardware would work with it. But apparently it isn't like that now, because I went and I got Linux Mint 13, which I had done a little reading into, and plus a while ago my friend Trent was telling me that it works out of the box with pretty much everything. So I installed that, and I got the Linux Mint 13 KDE version, which is cool. Like I started using KDE back when I was using Slackware. Slackware is by far my favorite Linux distribution, but it takes a little bit of tinkering with configuring it and everything when you install it. I didn't really have time to be fucking with that now because I work all the time. So, like I said, I just want something easy that would just work. And Linux Mint, easy, and it just works. So I installed it. There was some minor sound card configuration because the Phonon sound card utility that comes with KDE basically sucks. But you can't take it out without removing a bunch of the essential libraries for KDE, so I'm kind of stuck with it. But at any rate, I got it all working, and then I had a little hitch with my update manager. I forgot updates the first time. Fixed that in like 3 minutes. Just had to like Google the error code and got an answer for that. But other than that, like everything has just been like ridiculous easy. I mean, not easy, but it just works. I mean, I don't know, like I got my first computer in 2006, and I didn't really use computers much before that at all. Except like in grade school, we learned some stuff on like an Apple IIe. But other than that, like I typed a couple papers in college on a word processor, on a WordPerfect, I remember. And I was on the internet a couple times back in like the late 90s, but I didn't really use computers hardly at all up until I got one in 2006. And then I used Windows for like 9 months, not even a full year. And I heard about Linux. I heard about like the whole open source software thing, and it sounded pretty anarchic to me. So I was like, I'm all for it, and decided to check it out. And like somehow there's this like myth that you have to be a bona fide geek or hacker to run Linux, and it's complete bullshit. Like it's just bullshit. Like I didn't know dick about computers really, and I'd owned one for under a year, and I started using Linux, and I fucking loved it. It wasn't like the easiest thing to get into because like I had to learn a lot, but like it totally worth it. You got a great operating system. It's free. There's tremendous like community support. Like everybody is so cool. Like just everybody like real helpful, and it's just awesome. And there's a lot of arguments for like objective technical reasons why Linux is better than other operating operating systems like Windows or Apple or whatever, and like I'm not really gonna get into that because I'm not one of those kind of people that's like, oh, Windows sucks, or oh, fucking Apple's for hipster wankers or whatever. Like, fuck that. I don't care. You know, I don't give a shit what you're running on your computer, really. I just know, like, what I like, and I didn't pay for it, and I didn't have to steal it off the Pirate Bay. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with it. And, you know, I think that, you know, I've talked to people who've used Windows 8, and like they've told me it completely sucks. I've read a lot about how bad it sucks, seen a bunch of videos about how bad it sucks, and you know, like honestly, like Linux is a viable alternative. Like at this stage, maybe a few years ago, it would probably piss a lot more people off because there was always more like everything was kind of an endeavor. I remember, like, I used Debian. It's this one Linux distribution, and I still remember to this day what a pain in the fucking balls it was to try and get Flash installed so I could watch water skiing squirrel videos on YouTube. Because the open source Flash, it's called Nash, it's horrible. It's a little better now, but back then it was just awful. But now, like, the distribution I have, Linux Mint 13, comes with regular standard Flash, like Adobe Flash. It comes with all the media codecs, comes with everything, like right off the bat. And plus, you know, you have a tremendous array of software you can use. There's a lot. Well, here, I'll show you. Let me see. This is my desktop, and you know, of course, it's got the Linux Compiz effects, the multiple desktops. I can have any number of applications running on any 4 of these desktops if I really want to. You know, it's got, you know, everything. But this is what I really want to talk about. This is a cool thing. The software manager. It has like a ton of programs you can get, and we're all really good. I don't know about all of them. I haven't checked all of them out, but every one that I've used has been really good. And but you get them right from your desktop. You don't have to go on the internet and search for them or anything. And you know, you don't have to worry about running an executable file that's going to give you a piece of malware or some shit like that, because everything just comes from the software repositories that are on the server of usually wherever your distribution comes from. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's even a lot of like, let me see. There's stuff like, see, like I got Picasa. I mean, that's a regular Google program. They got the Linux version of that. There's all kinds of programs that you can get for Linux now that you didn't really see as much of way back when. There's even like better games now you can get. I'm not like a gamer or whatever. I don't really use my computer for playing video games, but you know, like that was always a big thing with people like Windows because they could play their video games better on it. Like, that's cool, you know. Now they got a whole bunch of games that are ported to Linux, and you know, like, used to be a big issue with NVIDIA graphics cards. Not so much anymore. I got a NVIDIA card. I think I got a GeForce 9500, and like a few years ago when I was running Linux, I would have had a hell of a time getting it to work with an NVIDIA card, just because NVIDIA wasn't very forthcoming with the proper drivers. But now, like, the distribution I installed, like, had all that shit. They got, you know, everything I need. So, I don't know. It's just cool. You know, like I said, it's an alternative to Windows 8. And, you know, maybe, you know, good old, crusty old desktop computer, you know, is an alternative to the trendy tablet. that too. And you know, Linux is just a great operating system for desktops or laptops or you know, stuff like that. It's, you know, I mean, I don't know if you really saw when I showed you everything, but it's just like a classic desktop setup. Although, super cool thing about Linux, like I have like the KDE desktop environment. I can put in any number of desktop environments. I have GNOME installed on this, but to show you that, I'd have to reboot it. It'd be a big pain in the ass. But like, I don't really use GNOME that much anyway. I don't like it that much. But like, KDE is probably the most Windows-like. Like it doesn't really act like Windows a lot, but it looks pretty much like it. But there's all sorts of different ones. There's GNOME, there's XFCE, which I don't like very much. There's a good one called LXDE that I used for a little while. There's all kinds. There's Fluxbox, OpenBox, Blackbox. They're all like complete desktop environments, and you can have as many as you fucking want on your system, and you can choose between them at login. So overall, it's, you know, it's really cool. You can get a live CD from most distributions, and you just get the disc, and you know, it just you put in your drive, and it'll boot up the operating system off the disk, so you don't have to install it or anything. So you can see if your hardware works with it and everything, and then if you like it, you can install it. There's people that do like a dual boot, but you know, like they'll partition their drive for part Windows and part Linux. But you know, I have no desire to do that. Although I know people who do it. But also, another thing, within Linux, you can run like virtual what are they called, emulators or whatever, like Wine and other virtual machines that basically run Windows inside your Linux setup. So you can run Windows programs on a Linux machine. But I don't know, I've been meaning to try out Wine, but I just really, there's no reason. There's no like Windows program that I was using, like a program that was written for Windows, that I haven't found an open source alternative that isn't as good or fucking better than stuff I used to previously have to pirate over the internet, or just, you know, whatever, freeware or whatever. Yeah, I've never pirated software. But, yeah, anyways, that's it for now. Linux is good to go, so check it out. All right, bye.